How can someone become a U.S. citizen?
Good question. There are several ways to becoming a United States citizen. Of course, the easiest one is by birth. Anyone who is born here in the United States, in any of the physical 50 states or its territory, are considered United States citizen. It doesn't matter whether the parents are legal or not. Once you are born here, you are a citizen. Also, that being physically present also extends to people who are serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. So if you are born either in Korea or Japan or anything to a U.S. citizen, you also become a U.S. citizen. Now, in addition to that, if you are a permanent resident and you have been a permanent resident for a certain number of years, there are different categories, but the major one, if you have been a permanent resident for 5 years and you have no criminal record and you are a person of good moral character, you can apply for naturalization. That's another way of, in fact, naturalization is the most popular next to being born here in the United States. The most popular is naturalization. So to be eligible for naturalization, you must have been a permanent resident for at least 5 years. And then you must not have criminal record. You must be a person of good moral character. In addition to that, there are some categories that does not need to wait for 5 years before being eligible for naturalization. If you are married to a United States citizen and you have been living with that United States citizen for at least 3 years after becoming a permanent resident, you are eligible for naturalization without having to wait for 5 years. Also, if you are a member, or if you or your spouse is an active member of the United States military, you are required to be a permanent resident for 1 day before being eligible for naturalization. In other words, you can become a permanent resident yesterday and then apply for naturalization today if you or your spouse is an active member of the United States military. Again, this also includes parents. So if you are in active military, your parents can apply for naturalization after becoming a permanent resident for 1 day. Those are some of the benefits. But again, in addition to the period of time to be a permanent resident, there are some other technical requirements. You see, the word good moral character is very, very broad and is very ambiguous. From my experience, I've seen people denied naturalization because they are owing tax. They are owing tax to IRS, despite the fact that they have payment plan agreement with IRS and they are complying with the payment plan agreement. As far as immigration is concerned, such a person is treated as someone who lacks good moral character, and it will still be a ground for denial of the application. I've seen naturalization denied because someone is considered a drunkard. If you drink too much and immigration have access to that information, you may be denied citizenship based on good moral character. And again, when we are talking about commission of crime, there are different levels of crime. Some crimes are considered maybe minor crimes. Maybe somebody was given a ticket for speeding. Maybe somebody was given a ticket for parking at the wrong place. And all those things, although they are minor, they are not crime in the real sense of it, but it can still deny someone naturalization. It can still lead to denial of naturalization, because now they are not looking at crime, but they are looking at good moral character. So if they tell you don't park here and you intentionally park there, and then maybe the first time you got a citation, the next time you park there you get a citation, maybe the third time again you get a citation, then immigration will see it as a pattern. You are now someone considered, immigration can now consider you as someone who have developed a pattern to disregard the law, and citizenship can be denied for that on that basis.
Okay. Now, in your experience, I know social media is kind of new on the scene, but how does immigration use social media? I mean, say, going back to what you said about being a drunk, if you're posting all sorts of things on social media, could immigration find that?
Yes, the answer is yes. Actually, in recent years, information from social media has been a basis for several denials in application. This is not even limited to citizenship. It could, for example, I've seen people who are supposed to be ministers, who has a petition filed for them and approved as ministers, and these people posted on their social media that they are doing some freelance work when they were authorized specifically to work for a specific employer. But because of what they were posting about themselves, being freelance musicians, for example, freelance videographer and all these things, and whenever immigration have access to this information, it has formed basis for denials in the past, and I believe it can still be done that way. There are other eligibility requirements for citizenship. We may not be able to cover everything in this one segment because immigration is complicated, and I must say that immigration is not a one cap fits all. Everything I've said so far may be applicable to certain people and may not be applicable in other cases. That is why it is very important to consult an experienced attorney who can look into your specific case. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Because our desire is to educate as many people as possible, we have decided to go live effective January 2023 so that we will be able to answer people's specific questions. So please watch out for our live podcast effective January 2023. Thank you.